What is money? Where does money come from? We don't see money. When was the last time you gave people dollars and cash? Hi, Stefan here, off the record, on the chain. What is money, right? Money. Why is money so important? Why do we use it today? Ultimately, money was established for an exchange of goods and services versus a value, right? That's what it was established for. It was to foster and accelerate the trade and exchange of goods and services. That is no longer the case. So where does money come from? Money came from, originally, was used, we took gold, we took silver, we created some coins, and those were then used to facilitate that trade, right? So I didn't need to give you a chicken and you gave me some meat. Instead, I didn't have a chicken, I just came from traveling. I can then actually give you a coin, a piece of gold, a tael of silver, whatever it was. That was an exchange or the means of exchange. And ultimately, it became a store of value. So if I store more dollars, I then actually have a growth in wealth. The problem is money has shifted. Number one, it's become digital. So what does that mean? We don't see money anymore. When was the last time you gave people dollars in cash? It was all with credit cards, it was a bank transfer, it was a direct peer-to-peer exchange, a Venmo, whatever you're using to do this, that's PayPal, doing a settling of payment. So it's gone digital. So we don't actually even see money. And the second element, the store value, thanks to inflation and Federal Reserve and central banking activity, we're seeing a decline in the value of that money that you're saving. So you do not save money by holding cash. You save money by investing in assets. What are those assets that appreciate in value? One of those is gold. The other one is digital gold called Bitcoin. Those are assets that appreciate in value. And that's where a lot of the money is going. Federal banks have printed a lot of money. What does that mean? There is more money in circulation. So originally, the population is, let's say, 1 million people. 1 million people, we print $100 across 1 million people. That allows for an exchange of $100 million, $100 across those 1 million people. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to add an extra $100 million into the market. Those same 100 of people, unless they're trading much more, and there's a much bigger demand for dollars, the dollar will be debased. So there is a drop in value because all of a sudden the same 1 million people doing the same amount of trades have $200 million in supply. So what are they going to do? They're going to raise their prices in order to capture that. And so guess what? The $10 that you saved all of a sudden have 50% less purchasing power. That is what we call inflation, largely driven by the printing of money to finance debt. So how does crypto fit into all of this? And why are we talking about cryptocurrencies? Right? We already have dollar. I don't need anything else. The dollar is a dollar. So I talked to you about how that is debasing and how inflation is ruining your purchasing power. We've seen since 2020 alone a 30% decrease in purchasing power. 30%. So you can only buy 7 eggs instead of 10 eggs. Those are the things that inflation is bringing about. So cryptocurrency came around, Bitcoin came around, Ethereum came around as a means to drive utility with an asset class, creating a whole new asset class out of nothing. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have grown to a $3.3 trillion industry out of nothing. Why? People start to trust this new form of currency. Cryptocurrency. It's in cryptology is making sure that the ledger is secure. You have proof of work, proof of stake that is validating that you actually have the money. You're sending me the money. I receive the money. You get the money deducted from your wallet. All of that happens across a network of servers, and you're trusting the network to actually execute and deliver on that promise. And they have Lindy. They have been in the market for long enough that more and more people are beginning to trust them. And that's why this industry has grown. There are no middlemen. There are no governments involved. There are no Federal Reserves or central banks involved. There is a peer-to-peer exchange of value and goods and services associated with the exchange of value. That store of value is in the form of cryptocurrencies. other asset that cryptocurrencies bring to the market, or the other value proposition, the unique selling proposition, is the peer-to-peer exchange of value. It's instant. You have total control of your self-custodial wallet. Check out the wallet link and the video that we did on what type of wallets are out there. But for your wallets, you can immediately exchange money on a peer-to-peer basis instantaneously. You don't need to wait, write an order to the bank then waits, oh, it's a weekend, they're not open, they can't send the money. They then send the money 3 days later, and then it arrives after deduction of $100 or whatever the amount is in terms of transaction fees. Try to send money, even in the most advanced markets, there still is a huge charge. And if you're using credit cards and you think, oh, I'll just use my credit card, try that. You're paying a 5 or 7% fee. And if you're not paying for it, it's baked into the price because the merchant has to cover that cost. Who's charging it? It's to exchange 7 different middlemen or gatekeepers or toll takers, we call them, across a value chain for a credit card transactions, from the POS device that you have at the merchant through to the actual credit card company, the bank that's issuing the credit card company, and the bank that's receiving the money on behalf of the merchant or the recipient of the funds, etc., etc. So long story short, instantaneously, no fees versus lots of fees, lots of time and wastage across an ecosystem. This has been Off the Record, on the Chain. Hope you enjoyed it. Stefan here. Subscribe, like, and thanks.